That's right, Wet Wet Wet's Love Is All Around, which spent 15 weeks at the top of the charts. Well, tonight the Glasgow band played their only Scottish gig this summer. It was part of a pop-up festival from the banks of the Clyde, and I caught up with frontman Marti Pellow before he went on stage and asked him how he felt about the city playing host to the Commonwealth Games.
This is my second Commonwealth Games in Scotland. I remember in the early 70s being taken along to the Commonwealth Games. You know, everywhere you walk about, they've got Commonwealth fever, and quite rightly too.
Wait a minute, 1970, Edinburgh. Well, you must have been a toddler.
No, I'd actually just served my time as an oxyacetylene welder. Yeah, I was a toddler. Yeah, I remember it. And that was the opening of the Commonwealth swimming pool, which I used to frequent a lot as a child.
I was going to ask you, what sports have played a part in your life then?
Well, you know, very much swimming. I loved the diving. You know, anything with water. I was always in the pool and swimming. I loved that. And football was, when you're growing up as a child in Scotland, it's hard to ignore the big F.
Did you ever think about doing diving competitively then?
Well, funny enough, when I went to the Commonwealth pool when I was a youngster, they did ask my father, you know, because I had no fear when it came to that, and would I be interested in it as a child? But unfortunately, I'm a banky boy, and my father couldn't subscribe to that very long journey.
Too long a drive. You could have been Tom Daly 2 decades earlier.
Only with tighter speedos, obviously.
He's going to dive in that pool this week.
That's going to be fantastic, and so graceful he is too.
Now, you as a band, Wet Wet Wet, have a sporting history. I remember when you were the shirt sponsor of Clyde Bank. How did that come about?
Well, we were big Clydebank FC fans, you know. When we were very young, our fathers would lift us over the stalls, over the turnstiles when we'd go to see Clydebank play, and David Cooper was, and still is one of our heroes. As far as I was concerned, is one of Scotland's greatest footballers.
So when he was playing for Clydebank, it was Wet 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 across his stomach?
Absolutely.
And one of the great tragedies of Scottish sport with him dying on the pitch.
Very much so, and it's still a great loss. And you know, people still talk about his skill and how good a tactician he was.
You've got the gig tonight for the Commonwealth Games.
Oh, yes.
I remember you playing a special gig in 1990 for the Capital of Culture on Glasgow Green. I went along. It was called The Big Day, and they tried to get back every Glaswegian act. What are your memories of that day?
Well, once again, that's these big events, you know, be it the Year of Culture or, you know, the Big Day. These are events that seem to really bring the city together in all different walks and all different cultures. And for a while, Europe and in fact the world folk looks on at Glasgow and they see us with great pride and a great sense of enthusiasm for the Games. And a great sense of bringing together all different cultures under one umbrella, pardon the pun, which is either music or sport, and that is a wonderful thing. You know, you also had the rugby going on as well, and it just seemed to be phenomenal. And then you look at you go over to Kelvin Grove and you watch just as much passion with the Bulls.
Hey, Scotland won today. I was lucky enough to be there.
There was a fantastic result for the two lads, and you know, I think that's the third. You know, they just go from strength to strength.
And the hockey, I think, is almost exactly where you were when you played that huge gig in 1990. It's on Glasgow Green.
Yeah,
my favourite moment of that gig, do you remember when Sheena Easton turned up?
Oh, yeah. Now, Sheena unfortunately had lost her Glaswegian accent and went a bit mid-Atlantic. Well, I work hard in being able to roll Mars. You know, I think that Scotland is, our guttural accent has saved the day for me on many occasions.
How did Sheena sound? Give us a bust.
I really couldn't go there.
She was bottled off, I remember.
Aye, God bless her. Aye, she made a great record with Prince. What more can you say?
I think that's why we were jealous. I'll have to do it then for the listeners. It was like, it's great to be back in Glasgow. And everyone just went, we're not having this.
No, that's a shame. I remember when the programme was out, when she was first starting her journey, and it's such a wee special girl.
This is the big time.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's the greatest Glasgow musical act ever?
I'd say the Blue Nile for me, you know, it's some of the guys from Sensational Alex Harvey Band, you know, where does it stop? We've got rich in culture, you know, rich in music. You know, when you hear people playing our own music that comes from our own country and the culture that we embrace, it's so passionate. When I go to America, you know, I can go there and the first time I ever heard Parcel of Rogues by Robbie Burns was sung by a black man in Memphis, Tennessee. It just goes to show you how much our music travels. It's very easy for me as a musician to take for granted what was on my doorstep when I was growing up, and so I looked across the pond for my influences when what was on my doorstep was infinitely as passionate.
But there seems to be a disproportionate amount of bands from Glasgow compared to Edinburgh.
Having said that, the postcard era, there was a lot of acts that, like the Fire Engines and stuff, I think Joseph Kay, and there was always musicians who were involved with Glasgow musicians, and there was always a scene going on in Edinburgh as well. Hey, they've got the castle.
There was a beautiful moment as well when the Scottish team came in, the opening ceremony, the song they choose for them to come into was Move Any Mountain by the Shaman.
Aye, can bring it on. I remember the Shaman when they were called Maybe the Floor.
Really?
Oh yes, or was it the Slaughterhouse 5? I can't remember.
They're terrible names.
Yeah, well, hey, wait, we've got to keep to talk.
Do you ever regret picking it?
No, I remember the last conversation we were debating who had the silliest name between us and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I gave it to the Peppers.
Really?
Yeah, because we always wanted a name that just kind of left you perplexed. And that's why we like bands like Echo and the Bunnymen or Captain Beefheart, just stuff that kind of threw you.
I'm interviewing you here backstage in your dressing room just across from the SECC where so many events are taking place. We've got the boxing going on tonight as well. That's a venue you've played many, many times.
Yeah, it holds a lot of memories for us, and also the Hydro as well, another great, wonderful venue. And we're kind of spoiled in this little pocket here, of venues that we have.
And you just played the Hydro last year. Now it's the rhythmic gymnastics in there. Yeah?
Well, there was rhythmic gymnastics when I was doing it that night as well, I can assure you. And if you buy the DVD, you can witness it.
You and the ribbon.
Well, try and stop me.